Church's nun. So this incident happened with a girl named Jolly. She was a very close friend of Essa, so the one who is 31 years old and the one who is Jolly is 30 years old, and the whole story of this happened 18 years ago. So 18 years ago, a very sweet girl whose name was Jolly, she was playing hide and seek with her friends. Although Jolly was very brave, she was not afraid of anything, but she was a little scared of hiding in the graveyard, but the counting was almost to end 8765. That's why Jolly did not have time to think much. So Jolly went straight and hid in the graveyard, and after that, her eyes just opened next morning in her room. The next day, no one in her house knew what had happened to Jolly. She was just hiding in the graveyard and became unconscious, and she regained consciousness on the next day. It was a mystery as to what happened and how it happened, but from then onwards, one thing started happening with Jolly. Jolly used to get senses of anything, like evil creatures, evil spirits. Jolly started seeing things which normal people could not see. Jolly started feeling things which normal people could not feel, but her family members never knew, because they were not that much of an understandable family, so they didn't pay much attention to that thing. Now, the story starts from this day. 12 years later, Jolly has grown up. Jolly was with a boy named Hooky, who, according to her, was a very good boy, and also Essa, her friend, believed this thing, and Jolly was doing her job. She was earning well, and her life was going very well. Now, Hooky and Jolly loved each other very much. They both decided that they would live together. We'll be in a relationship, and if everything goes well, they will get married soon. Hooky used to work in the Google sector and used to earn quite well. Side by side, he was also a yoga instructor. Hooky had no mom and dad. His parents died in his childhood. But still, Hooky had built a 2-floor house with his entire earning. With his hard work, and Hooky and Jolly used to live in the same house, but Jolly's family members did not approve at all. Jolly used to have arguments with her family members, and these arguments became so much that a time comes when the family members do not even talk to her. They completely cut her off. But still, Hooky is always on Jolly's side. Meaning, even during this bad time, when Jolly had become depressed, she used to be very sad. Even then, Hooky always used to stay with Jolly. Well, now both of them were living together, and both of them were big horror freaks. Meaning, no matter what the situation is, these people would not have missed anything related to horror stuff. And now both of them were planning a trip to the USA on the 31st of October, Halloween Day. And now they were going to New York and enjoy there. So now these people go to New York on the first day, they visit the seaside, and there they have lavish dinner and enjoy it to the fullest. On the night of the 31st of October, so after having a full dinner that night, they are coming back to their 5-star hotel, which was just near the New York campus. So when in the morning they entered to the hotel, everyone there was very happy. Everyone was talking to them and welcoming them. But now, when it is night, they have come back to the hotel after having dinner. There are so many people there, but there is dead silence. No one is talking to them, they are just staring at them. If you look closely, there is nothing special about the lights there. Everything is very dark. Well, these things seem very strange to both of them and very uncomfortable. And then when they came to their room, there was darkness everywhere. Actually, someone had cut the light wire of their room, and it took 30 minutes to get completely fixed. So after the lights came on, both of them were there. They are tired, so both of them are asleep, and it is almost 3 o'clock in the night. Suddenly, Jolly's phone starts ringing. Jolly is sleeping. She picks up the phone, and as soon as she picks up the phone and says hello, she hears a very strange sound coming from the front, as if someone has met with an accident and is about to die. Jolly gets very scared, and then the voice is speaking to her, and then the song starts playing from Jolly's phone. I am Ryder. I am Ryder. So as Jolly turned around to Hooky to tell about everything she sees, that Hooky is in a very strange posture. His hands were below, and both the legs were above his neck, and he was absolutely giving an evil smile, and was singing that same song in the tape voice, seeing that Jolly got scared a lot. And she screams very loudly. As soon as Jolly screams, everyone comes to hall. Hooky is quit. The sound coming from phone is also quit. Everything is completely in dead silence. And after about 10 to 15 seconds, Hooky starts laughing. He burst out in laughing, along with the hotel staffs who were staring them in a very strange way. All this was planned because it was 31st night, and Halloween has already begun, and because of these things, Jolly started crying. So to convince Jolly Hooky to order a cake for Halloween night and promise Jolly to take her to the best place, he calls his travel manager and tells him to book a place for tomorrow in New York. Now the travel manager knew that these two are such a horror freaks, so the manager books the best horror place for them, which was a church next day. Cab driver took them to that church. Well, this was the surprise. So when they reached near that church and they saw that church, they loved that surprise and they go inside there. As they both step inside the church, Jolly starts getting a very wrong feelings. And after a few steps, Jolly saw a nun in a church who wearing a white-colored dress with red blood, and she was looking at them from the side of the pillar. Hooky did not saw anything, and Jolly ignored that nun, and they both move forward, but the nun keeps following them from behind. Jolly starts feeling depressed. Jolly said, "Hooky, you go first. I forget something in the hallway. I'll find it, will be back," and to confront, Nun Jolly goes back, and suddenly Nun appeared in front of her, and Nun was weeping very badly. Nun didn't say anything to Jolly, but she started to feel something about that nun. Like how King's servants sexually exploited and how they killed and burned that nun. And don't know how Jolly can hear crying of that nun. And then Jolly knows that why the nun got trapped in this church. Why is she still suffering because of that dark past of hers, and how that nun is begging for help from every human being? Actually, no conversation happened directly between them, as if the conversation was happening in Jolly's mind. She had come to know about everything. But Jolly was helpless. She doesn't know how she could help the nun. She would tell the nun that I cannot help you, and she and Hooky start leaving the church from there. And while leaving, the nun suddenly whispers in his ear that, "Be ready for suffering," and Jolly ignores the whole thing and leaves from there. Then on 31st, it was around 8:30 p.m. Jolly, Hooky, and the cab driver finally left from there. Jolly decided, whatever happened to her, she will not tell anything to Hooky. His mood is very good, then Hooky will get scared anyway. So now these people are going towards their hotel because there was a Halloween party, and suddenly their car meets with an accident on the way. Their car collides with a tree, and Jolly does not get any injury in it. As she looks from the side, both Hooky and the cab driver would have died. Jolly's legs would have become completely numb, and her entire body. She dials the call, but there is no signal there. Jolly was sitting alone in that deserted road the whole night, helpless. She doesn't know what to do. It is such a big road. No one comes from there. No one is going. Calls are not being received. She's just sitting with her boyfriend the whole night, and in the morning, when people start leaving from there, they see that there has been an accident outside. So they come there. Everyone is taken to the hospital. Jolly is saved, but both of them have died there, which everyone knows. Well, this is the whole story. The night which Jolly wanted to make her most memorable had turned out to be the most painful night of her life. Jolly had never been so helpless. The whole night she was sitting with her boyfriend, watching him slowly dying. Jolly was not able to understand what to do and how to live now. Hooky was no more, and it was becoming very difficult for Jolly to accept this. Where would Jolly go? She had been cut off from her family, but now Hooky is no more. Well, she goes back to her family. The family members also get very scared after seeing her condition and call her back. It must have been about 2 or 3 days since Jolly stayed at home. Now the conflict had started in the house also. The family members used to say Jolly a lot that if you were saved, you too would have died with that boy. They told me not to do this, and that Jolly would fight there again and leave that house. Jolly, who had left, decides that she will now stay in Hooky's house because Jolly had the key to Hooky's house. So Jolly goes and she is living alone in that entire 2-floor house. Hooky is not with her. It is as if that house is haunting her. She's feeling those memories. She's feeling nostalgic. Everything everywhere is reminding her of Hooky. Jolly has become very lonely and she has become depressed, not talking to anyone, staying at home for 24 hours, not going to her office. Essa, her friend, also tries to contact Jolly many times. He was concerned about her well-being, but Jolly never picked up even Essa's phone. She used to stay alone at home, due to which many other things started affecting her, like not sleeping on time and many mental disorders. She started having depression. It started happening as if Hookie was around her. She used to feel that whenever Hookie used to come home from the office, at exact time Hookie will come, Jolly used to go every day and stand at the gate to see whether Hookie would come back, but Hookie did not come. And these things started spoiling Jolly's whole life, and this was not enough. One night like this, Jolly was trying to sleep, but she was not able to sleep at all, but that night she was able to sleep completely. Jolly falls asleep. As soon as she sleeps, after some time she feels that someone is coming into her room. There is a knocking. The door opens and Jolly sees that the same woman whom she had seen in the church is a nun. She is coming towards her. Slowly, she is shouting in a very strange way and sits on her chest. She starts slapping her, and she is unable to move. Suddenly, her eyes open, and then Jolly realizes that she had sleep paralysis, and from that day, Jolly kept having sleep paralysis every day. Every day she used to come, and she used to torture her. And she would wake up, and these things had started increasing so much, they were happening so consistently that Jolly had started becoming mentally unstable, being afraid of sleeping at night, thinking this every time whenever Hookie will come. Jolly's condition had worsened so much that after some time she was admitted to the hospital, and it was declared that Jolly was mentally unstable and had gone mad, which was true to a large extent. Jolly had started behaving strangely. After being admitted to the hospital, she was lying there for 2 years. Neither the family nor anyone else met her. She was kept at just one place, and she was completely cured. The treatment was done in a government hospital. Jolly's friend, Essa, used to meet her from time to time. He used to go and meet Jolly once or twice a month, and her condition could not be seen by Essa. He was not able to understand anything, but in these 2 years, Jolly had started recovering slowly. The doctors were treating her well. Finally, after 2 years, Jolly had completely recovered. She no longer had sleep paralysis attacks. Now she was mentally stable. She had no problems in sleeping, and after 2 years, she was discharged from the hospital. It finally happens. Jolly has not married yet, has not done anything. She still remembers Hookie even now. She has not been able to accept that perhaps Hookie is no longer in her life, but except this Hookie part, everything has become normal. And now when these things have become normal, then Jolly has shared all these things with Essa, that there was a time when we went to New York. We saw something like this. After that, an accident happened. After that, he used to see the same nun in sleep paralysis. But now she has stopped seeing her. Maybe the curse or suffering that was given to her by that nun has ended, and now Jolly is absolutely perfect.